Project Veritas CEO and Chris Hansen impersonator James O'Keefe is officially out as the boss. Before we get any further into this, please like, subscribe, share around if you're feeling generous, and then turn the notifications on. Follow my socials. Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram. Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. Obviously, this channel here. It's all in the description down below. Just go down there. It's easier than me explaining it to you. I also got a show that's based, outlawstreamers.com, Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. Oh, and Apple Podcasts now. Go leave some solid reviews there. I'd appreciate it. Also in the description. Sorry, guys. I am, getting sick, I think, which is scary because I don't get sick. My immune system is really strong, and I don't get sick a lot. My fiance, during COVID, she caught COVID 3 times, and I never got it. And I was out working the road doing shows and everything during COVID. So, the problem with that is when you have that good of an immune system, you never build up, antibodies to any of the crap going around. So if something does slip through, I'm on my deathbed for a week. It sucks. So hopefully I can avoid that. I don't know. We'll see. It's I did a lot of driving. I might just be run down, but I don't think so. I did 28 hours of driving over the weekend. I was going through the Southwest. But like I said, I worked the road fairly regularly, prior to and during COVID. So it was I don't really think it's that. I don't I'll get run down and sleep in a little bit, but I feel like just crap. So if this isn't up to par, I apologize. I'll do my best to make it up to you, though, I promise. So Project Veritas has let go of CEO James O'Keefe. He's out. They made a statement. He made a statement. We covered this in a video earlier. Basically, what they said was he was the nightmare boss from hell. If you believe that, go ahead and believe that. I really don't. I mean, like I said, man, this guy got raided by the feds, right? Plus, he's a public figure. If there were any complaints, the feds would have leaked it because that's the crap they do. When they want to wage a PR campaign against somebody, they have people leak little stories about, oh, he was a bad boss, he yelled at me, he cussed at me, he was abusive, blah, blah, blah. But you didn't hear any of that. And now it's out. So I'm kind of of the mindset that there's something we're not being told here. Now, listen, I don't know. Maybe there's an NDA that was signed. Who knows? But if you're Project Veritas, and he really was this horrible boss that was worthy of firing basically the face of the entire organization, you got to come up with some kind of evidence. You got to provide it. Otherwise, your organization is over. It's done. There's no one's going to respect your organization. No one's going to trust you. That's what I think, unfortunately, sometimes brands feel like they're bigger than the face of the brand. And sometimes that is the case, right? If LeBron James were to retire today, there'd be someone else that would step up and be the face of the NBA. It wouldn't be a big deal. But there are some brands where, and Project Veritas is a perfect example. Another example, The Apprentice. When Donald Trump left, it was horrible. Say what you want about Trump as a president, but when Schwarzenegger replaced him, it was just bad. And The Apprentice was solid TV, right? I mean, shows replace hosts all the time. Max Kellerman was terrible on First Take on ESPN. It's just sometimes the face is more important than the actual brand, and sometimes that's not the case. But with James O'Keefe, that's definitely it. They can't they're not just going to be able to replace him. So the majority of that following is going to go wherever he went, right? So if you're Project Veritas, you've probably got the next 24 hours to come up with some type of proof that these allegations are true, that he was, and it wasn't like it was sexual assault or anything like that. It was just, hey, he was a dick of a boss. So it's kind of what are we doing here? But if you're Project Veritas, you have to come up with some shred of evidence that backs up why you let the face of the franchise go. You just have to. He's not, it's like I said, the following's going to go with him. No one's going to trust you as a brand anymore. You're not. Your whole thing's about exposing corruption and pushing for transparency in government and big corporations, and you can't even provide transparency in your own company? Bye-bye. I don't trust them. I'm not going to watch anything that comes from them anymore. Almost at this point, even if they do provide proof of him cursing out an employee or something, I'm done. I'm not I think Project Veritas did some great work. But now I can't trust you because you're moving shady like this. You're refusing to comment. And again, there may be like an NDA that was signed. Who knows, right? I don't know what's going on there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making this video, that was pondering over what was going on there. I'd just come here and tell you, and, and then I'd probably get fired if I worked at Project Veritas. But so I think there's one of three things is happening here, okay? There's like three possibilities that I think with this Project Veritas thing. Number one, I think the first possibility is probably the least likely, which is that it's true, that he was this dickhead boss and he was abusive to his employees and he cussed them out and blah, blah, blah. Even then, we've all had bosses like that. They don't get fired. No, people just quit. They go find a new job somewhere else. If he's that, unless it's like sexual abuse, which they've provided no indication that it was, if he's that much of a monster of a boss, but he's still the face of your organization, you kind of got to roll with him. And the camera crew and the researchers and all that more people will come. You'll replace him. They're a lot more. I don't want to shit on anybody, but they're a lot more replaceable than James O'Keefe is. So that's possibility number one, which I don't think is the truth, which is that he actually is a bad boss, and that's why they fired him. Number two, their board has been compromised. It's no secret that this came out right after the Pfizer thing where they exposed, that was a monstrous viral video that I think everyone needs to see. It's on their Twitter. They exposed one of the higher ups at Pfizer basically admitting that they're creating new variants to try to sell more vaccines. That's huge. Now, has their board been compromised? Do they have assets in these pharmaceutical companies? We don't know. Who made a call? We know the Biden administration's made calls in the past. We saw that with the Twitter files, they're yanking everything down. Maybe that was it. At the request of the Biden administration. So who knows? It could very well be that their board is compromised. Number three, and it's like I say, I'm the bearer of boring news. A lot of the times with these big conspiracies, it's usually the most boring and mundane answer, right? Like the most boring and simplistic scenario, which is either greed or stupidity. In this case, it's stupidity. I think that Project Veritas is tone deaf. I think that they don't realize that James O'Keefe was Project Veritas, not the other way around. Like, I don't think they realize that when people think Project Veritas, they don't think, the board of directors. They don't think the work. Well, they do think the work they do, but James O'Keefe is who they associate that with. And now that he's gone, the man did great work. And it wasn't just, he was doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes too. It wasn't just a Chris Hansen type thing where even Chris Hansen did stuff behind the scenes, but he wasn't just a pretty talk show host that would come out and ambush people with stuff that other people had already done, right? Like he was putting in work behind the scenes doing this stuff. So I really do. I think it's just that they're tone deaf. I think they think that they can survive with somebody else. I think what probably happened was there was a disagreement because he was the CEO. There was a disagreement on how the company should be run and what the next step should be. And I don't think anyone's been compromised. They could have been. If you think they were, let me know in the comments and show me and tell me why. I'm open to hear it. I'm not glued to this idea that it was just, internal politics. But that's probably what happened. They had disagreements on the future of the company moving forward. Project Veritas was like, bye-bye. We'll run this ourselves. And they made the mistake of thinking that the brand was bigger than the face. And it just wasn't. And we're going to find that out because the way this has been handled, like I said, even if the allegations are true, the way this has been handled was done so poorly that no one's going to trust them going forward. Why should we? You can't even be transparent with why you fired the face of the franchise? Sorry. I can't trust you on anything now. Even if you had a good reason. You should have told us. Not just these cryptic messages in press releases. You should have told us. And then retweeting, James is okay. He's out on vacation in the mountains, blah, blah, blah. And then firing him a couple days later? No. No. I don't trust you anymore. And I don't think anyone should. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Follow my show, That's Based, OutlawStreamers.com, Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. All the links are in the description down below. I'm going to go take some Pedialyte or something. I don't know. This post-nasal drip thing going on. Subscribe to this channel. I promise the videos are better when I'm not sick. Like, subscribe, turn the notifications on. Follow my socials, Caleb Isn't Funny, Twitter and Instagram, Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. And then, of course, subscribe to this channel. Thank you guys so much. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. Peace out and stay based.